Hey Kickstarter backers! So I'm here to show you the proof of ArchRavels, which I hope you're excited about. I'm excited about. I'm excited to show you. The first thing I have to do, here at XYZ Game Labs, my responsibility is one, I designed this, and two, I'm CEO of the company, and it's my responsibility to tell you that we are not going to deliver in August as we originally planned, but no worries, we will get into the reasons why, and I can tell you that we currently are on track to deliver at the beginning of November. So you should still have this in time for sweater season and for the holiday season. So with that, let's get into this box in front of me, which is our proof of ArchRavels. Now, what you're gonna see here, this outside box is not how the proof came from our manufacturer. This is a box that we had made so you can see what the real box will look like. If, these normally come in a white box from our manufacturer, and it's the white box prototype is a chance for our proof, is a chance for us to see how everything's gonna fit together and what the components look like. So let's jump into it. So the first thing we have here, we'll pull this off, and you can see we've got our punch boards. Those are important. There's the box if you wanted to see it. Sides, Snugglesaurus. Inside of this proof has nothing. That won't be what the final looks like. So enjoy that when it comes. So we've got box here. We've got our punch boards for all of our pattern tiles, and then for all the other chipboard items in the game. So there's those. Then we've got our rule book. This is the rule book. It's blank, obviously, but you'll have a rule book in the box. And then of course, look at this. This is the proof of our yarn bazaar. So you can see here, we've got these awesome game trays that snap together and go together. You get a clear top here. This is the whole yarn bazaar. You just pick this up and put it down and take that lid off, and you're ready to play. The yarn bazaar is all set up. And then what else we have in the box is this is your game board. So this is the actual yarn bazaar board. And we'll take a look at what the art for that looks like in a little bit. And then you have all the actual components that are in the box itself. So you can see our yarn bowls are here. I'll pull those out, show you what those look like. So we've got these are the plastic yarn balls that come with the game, and there are 4 of those, as you would expect, that fit nicely down in this game trays designed insert. We've got our cards for the yarn bazaar, our yarn cards. And these do fit sleeved, so there's an example of about half of them sleeved. They both fit in these wells, fully sleeved. These were fully sleeved. We took them off just for the camera. And then here you've got your player boards, and then underneath the player boards, you've got all of your other tiles and components. So these are going to be your pattern tiles. You can just hit the edge to pick them up. And you've got your project cards here. And then these are the player boards themselves. So that's how it's all fitting together. This is going to be a kind of a light tan color, and this will be a dark brown wood color. Let's take a little bit closer look at the yarn bazaar itself. There's also a couple surprises under the tray, or a surprise under the tray, but we'll let you find that out when you get your copy of the game. So that's how that stuff fits. And then let's take a look at this yarn bazaar. So I'm going to lay out the board here just so that you guys have some good contrast. You all have some good contrast to see what this looks like. But here's our yarn bazaar. So take that top off there, and we've got a spot here for each of the yarn 3 chits. If you don't remember what those look like, I have some somewhere here. Here's a prototype board of them. So if you don't remember what the yarn 3 chits look like, they look like that. Now these prototype ones that we made before this proof, they're a little bigger than the spot we have for them here. So we're going to make these just a little bit smaller to fit in there. That's one of the things that's going to cause us to, take a little bit longer in production than we intended. Is we got to make these a little bit smaller, make sure they fit inside these spots nicely. Then you can see here, you've got all your different yarn tokens. You've got your item tokens that go along the outside edge. So you got 5 different wells there for your hats, blankets, scarves, mittens, and what am I forgetting? Bears. Can't forget the bears. So then you've got your individual yarn tokens. Now you'll see that these are the final ones that are colored, and they have different shapes to them. So if you take a look here, you can see our yellow and our green both have 3 lobes. Our red and our purple both have 5 lobes. And then our orange and blue both have 4 lobes. So that's what these look like, as close to in person as I can show you at the moment. Just compare that to the previous components that we were using in the prototype. There's the old orange disc, the old red disc, and then the shapes next to them. So hopefully that helps. The intention here is for us to make these so they're colorblind accessible. That way, if you are colorblind, you don't have as hard a time playing a game where the rainbow of colors definitely matters. So that's the yarn tokens themselves. Pretty good size. Fit in these wonderful trays that's made to look like a big yarn display at a store. Thank you for Noah at Game Trays for making that one happen. And then if we look here, we've also have our action markers. So there is our shopper, our thrifty shopper. There's our yarn spinner, the color specialist, and of course the master crafter. And just to compare those to the ones we were using in the prototype, if anyone is interested in that, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Here is the old marker for each of them. So you can see they're a little bit smaller, but also they fit on the board way better. And as an example of that, here we go. Here's Niha's board. So you can see the old marker, like that, it looks about the same either way. If you lay it down, it pretty much covers everything up. But the new marker is much more appropriately sized. This is kind of how we want it to look and feel. So there's our action selection markers and our rainbow of yarn pieces. The only other thing I have left to show you for wood pieces in the base game is, of course, our cat. So there's our prototype cat that is badly painted. Let's see what he looks like. Now, say hello to Chonky Kitty. This cat is much bigger than I ever anticipated it being. However, it is kind of wonderful. If you look at him, I don't know how well you can see it here. I can show it to the camera up there. He's very thick. He's a very big boy. Very big boy, but also adorable. I mean, look at that. So there is our kitty as well. And hopefully this will focus. There we go. So you can see how the cat looks between the two of them. Obviously, we made it bigger because thought it needed to be bigger. Bigger kitty. I think that's cool. So that's the Yarn Bazaar. That's the Yarn Bazaar and the wood components. Let's take a bit of a look at some of these components compared to, say, the prototype ones that we were using. So there's our hat, mittens, scarves, bear, and blanket. These are the ones that are in the base game, obviously, or in the prototypes we've been using. So here's a size comparison of the ones that are in the game. So if you've seen us play this on stream, you should know that we're coming in about the same size, almost exactly the same size for each of these items. And you should get a sense of what they look like. This might be overkill. Some of you out there might be going like, okay, yeah, we get it. But, it's fun for me, so hopefully it's fun for you. There you go. There's what our different elements look like. So these are just the blank proof, but you can see we're going with the same size and shape that have worked well in our prototype for a lot of things, except we're making a change in like the action selection markers and the cat. One other thing I want to show you about the tray itself. So this tray, we love the design of it. We think it's great. We're very thankful to Noah over at Game Trays for what he's done for this project. The one thing we do have to do is we got to change the thickness of plastic that we're using for the tray, and I'll explain why. So you can see this here, when they mold one of these things, there's a single sheet of plastic that gets pushed down or pushed up to go into this shape. Well, when you use that, you can see this tray has got some thickness to it. It's got a high point right here that you can probably see in the forward camera, but not on the above camera. It's got a high point right here. That's a lot of plastic, pretty deep wells. So the bottom of these wells, you hear that? That's not okay. Nope, not okay. Not okay with that. I want this thing to feel solid and awesome and great in your hands, and that little poppy clack clicky thing, that doesn't work. So we've talked to talked to our production vendor. We've talked to Noah over at Game Trays. We know how we're going to fix that, and of course we're going to fix it because we want you to have a quality product. So yeah, that's one of the reasons that we're going to take a little longer than we originally intended. We want this tray to not only look awesome, but I want it to feel awesome as well. So there's that. Now what I'll do next here is let's pack up the box. And for all those that got deluxe components, which is like 70% of our backers, I want to show you how those deluxe components will fit in this box with everything else as well. So let me work on that here just for a second. Get these tokens back into the Bazaar. So we're just using the spaces here that are on the sides for each of these tokens. They work really well to fit them all in there. And then we'll get all of these organized back in. You know, doing this by shape is much more difficult than it might look, because I don't have any colors to help me with that. All right, so we'll get rid of these things. Get Chunky Kitty back in here. What's up, Chunky Kitty? And Bud. And then we'll get these back in. Oops. Close that up. Get our box bottom back over here. So there, of course, is the box. The bowls stack up nicely. Oh, if you want to take a little closer look at the bowl. So the bottom of the bowl here just has our logo and Game Trays logo in it. And the sides get this nice little, I don't know if I'm holding that upside down or not, nice little design in it. And these are pretty nice. They're pretty sturdy. They feel good. They're nice when you put stuff in them. So we'll just put these back in the box. And then put the Yarn Bazaar on top. Oh wait, I forgot the board. There's the board. Board, Bazaar, rulebook. So there's the stock game. Now, let's say you got the wooden bowls. That was the upgrade you did. So I've got the prototypes of the wooden bowls right here. Ignore this color and ignore this size hole. It's going to be this bowl. This is the bowl. This is what the bowl looks like. It's got this size hole. So where do those fit? Well, if we take out both these, then we can stack the bowls, turn them upside down, put them right here, and then these plastic bowls still fit on top of them. So now the box still closes fine, and the bowls are in there. So that's if you want to store both sets of bowls in the box. So the next thing we got a lot of questions on was the playmat. So here's the playmat for the game. This is the prototype of the playmat. Colors are a little off in this one, so ignore that. But this, if you don't have the bowls, you can actually just roll it up and fit it right in this spot. But if you do have the bowls and you want to fit it all in here, you put the mat in half and make sure that this rounded piece just goes right there. You can put this on, and then you can put the lid on, and everything fits in the box. Now, I didn't show you the realistic resources. Those will not fit inside the Yarn Bazaar with these wooden tokens. As you can see, this is pretty full, right? It's a pretty full well. However, there are enough little crevices, other areas, and spots in this box that if you took out those tokens and you wanted to put them in individual baggies, or you wanted to store them somewhere else, or you just want to put them all in one baggie and store it somewhere under the tray, you absolutely can do that. Unfortunately, making this thing big enough to hold all the realistic tokens and hold these wood tokens at the same time would have required a bigger Bazaar than we have here, and it wouldn't have looked as nice for anyone who just buys the stock game. So, deluxe components in the box, check, we got it. Now, with that, we've walked through the entire blank proof of ArchRavels. Why don't we jump over and take a look at the actual color proof sheets, because I think this is really cool to look at, and I think you'll think they're cool to look at too. Okay, so here we have the actual proof sheets for ArchRavels. So the first thing you can see here is this is our Yarn Bazaar. And then the back of the Yarn Bazaar is going to have this awesome yarn ball pattern on it that we're going to repeat on the edge of the box on the bottom side. So there's one example right there. This is what those sheets look like. Then let's take a look at the yarn cards themselves. I think I got to flip this around. I think it's upside down. So there's all our yarn cards, and then one thing we didn't talk about much, everyone's going to get a reminder card that has the game faces on one side and the restock actions on the other side, which I'll show you in a moment. So there's our yarn cards. Here are all of our special requests and our event cards. So for anybody who is following along on the Kickstarter and you want to see how these are coming out, so here they are. We've got the Sweater Pack, Spacesuit, Friendly Neighbor, Tattered Sweater, and Undone. We've got the Wizard Pack, which is 4 different house scarves. They're all worth 9 3/4 points. And we just happen to have one that's red and yellow, one that's blue and orange, one that's green and yellow, and one that's yellow and purple. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason we chose those colors. Then we have Prodigy Cal and Wishwarmers are in the base game. Then we have our Fantasy Pack, so Shoulder Monster, Dagron, Dwarf's Beard, and Loot. And then our Sci-Fi Pack, Trouble, Cunning Hat, Laser Sword, Tom's Scarf. And then the rest of these are the base ones that were in the game. So we got Butternut Sweater, Robot, Snugglesaurus, everyone's favorite, right in the middle of the sheet. That's nice. Unicorn Friendship Bracelets, Hacky Sack Octopus, Infinity Scarf. That is what those look like. And then if you want to know what the card back looks like, because we haven't actually talked about that much yet, here's our card back for ArchRavels, along with your reminder card down here that has your restock actions on it. Then we have our project cards. So that's what those look like. And here's what a project card back looks like, because I don't think we've shown that much yet at all. So there's what your project card back looks like. Then we go on to our chipboard components. So this big sheet, you can see here, we've got each of the player boards on here, front and back. And we've got our punch board that we just looked at in blank. And then our other punch board for the pattern tiles. There it is. And then the last thing I have to show you, this is the rulebook. So here's what the rulebook actually looks like. It's big, it's colorful. It's going to be great. So that's our color proofs of ArchRavels. And as far as changes, so I should sit down and look at y'all. So as far as changes, so we have the thickness of our Yarn Bazaar tray that we're going to change. That is one big change we have to make, and is going to, of course, add a little bit of time to our timeline. We also have a few changes that we want to make in the rulebook itself. There's a couple misspellings, errors, little strange graphic things we want to make sure we clean up, and the same thing on the outside of the box. Once we've done all those, once we've made all those edits, which actually we've already made all of those edits, and communicated to our vendor, our production vendor, on the changes and when we would like to see them, the next step for us is to prove the digital proof that they will make of the printed components that we changed, and then go ahead and release it to mass production. So, the Yarn Bazaar will probably get one more turn. We'll probably get one more example of it just to make sure that it's good to go. But other than that, we're pretty ready to go ahead and hit print on ArchRavels. From there, it'll take a couple months for it to print and to ship over to us here in America. And then at that point, we will start shipping it out to our backers and anyone who has pre-ordered from BackerKit. So there you go. There's ArchRavels. There's your update. Yes, we are going to be late. Yes, there are good reasons. We'll deliver in early November. If you have any questions or you want to see any more, just let us know. We'll also take plenty of pictures and throw them up on the update as well. Thanks.